Stroud, and the Colts have Anthony Richardson, and how tight these games continue to be, it is amazing to me that these games are so close, given the disparity in the quarterback play.
The Texans won by 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Richardson was 10 of 32.
He was 2 of 15 in the first half.
And they won by 3 points. Namely, because their defense did a good job.
Yep.
The defense continues to play well. The secondary continues to step up. They have guys out. They continue to step up. They continue to play well. They find a way to do it. Yet, the Texans' offensive line still cannot seem to get the job done.
It was definitely an issue again early in the game. The first drive, protection was pretty good. And then, obviously, we saw all the issues.
I'm going to draw the line straight downhill.
Kenyon Green
benched.
He was benched. That was a huge storyline. We saw him on the sidelines. Jarrett Patterson comes in, and then obviously Patterson leaves with an injury.
And that's the only reason that he came back in.
Yeah. We're taking your one word to describe this game. Leave them here we're on the KHOU 11 Facebook page. So if you're watching us somewhere else, head on over to the Facebook page, and we'll be taking your one word to describe what we all saw today. Shane Steichen is at the podium on the Colts side. We're still waiting for DeMeco Ryans. What would be a good one word? Waiting for a lot of these fans to join us. One word. Boy, you're going right away here. Once again, Texans win 23-20. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Go ahead.
I'm getting really tired of seeing C.J. Stroud get hit.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just talking about the obvious ones. There's 2 sacks here today that the Texans took on offense. But it's not just about the obvious plays. It's not about the fact that he has 0.2 or 0.3 seconds less on average than other quarterbacks in the pocket. No. It's about the quality of time that he has in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
He is constantly harassed by the defense. He constantly has guys in his face. And at some point, you have to honestly wonder, number one, if they didn't have Joe Mixon, what would this season look like in terms of a record?
Don't go there.
And number two, okay, and I realize that in some ways this is hypothetical, but I think it's valid. How much of C.J. Stroud's talent is being wasted by the fact that you can only do very limited things on offense because it's the only things they're the only things that can be executed at this point in time.
With all the protection
it's
issues.
Sad.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about what this guy is capable of, being one of the premier franchise quarterbacks in the NFL, and he's getting some of the worst protection.
25 of 37 for CJ today. 285 yards and the 1 touchdown. Kia is waiting. Kia's in here saying disappointing. That's the word from Kia.
Kia's right.
And what's your word?
Lucky.
All right, so Zach weighing in, Kia's weighing in. That's one word.
I've been waiting a couple weeks to say lucky with a win because you say you get, in sports you always say that there's no such thing as a bad win. There's no such thing as an ugly win. Well, there is, and there have been for the last couple weeks. Okay, the fans are finally starting to go from seeing, okay, they won, to saying, is this a sustainable way of winning? And it's not.
It isn't. They're continuing to win, though. Joe Mixon, 102 yards on the ground as we are continuing to wait for DeMeco Ryans from the Texans Auditorium at NRG Stadium after a 23-20 win. Joe Mixon, 102 yards on 25 carries, had the one long run of 21 yards. Jonathan Taylor, 105 on the ground. Anthony Richardson, 10 of 32, 175. He was sacked 5 times. Also have to certainly recognize the play of Danielle Hunter.
Absolutely.
Came up huge
Will Anderson,
when they needed him.
Those guys are playing lights out. I mean, they're playing lights out.
Typically, an NFL defensive room, one of the targets for an NFL defense is hold a team to 20 or fewer points. It used to be 17. I see 20 sometimes. Yeah. But if you can do that, you've had a very good day at the office, I should say. And then the offense, it did just enough to get this win. Did just enough.
But, there is that old kind of idea, I guess you could say, in the NFL that you really need to score 30 points to win a game.
Yeah.
Right? That's generally the benchmark that coaches set. And, I mean, when you look at the Texans' point totals for this season, they've only scored 30 points, over 30 points one time, and that was against the Patriots.
I was trying to come up with a good word, maybe something a little fancier than lucky. I said fortunate.
That's also a good one.
Yeah, I like yours better. Fortunate.
Fortunate gives it a little dressing, you could say.
Yeah. A little more flavor.
A little kinder.
Yeah. Because there were some good parts of this game for the Texans when you look at obviously the defense. We haven't talked about Stephon Diggs. That's a bad deal because
that's a bad one.
Maybe right now DeMeco is possibly getting some kind of update on him, although my guess it will be we've got to wait for further tests, but we'll see. And Danielle Hunter was good. Eric Murray was good.
Fantastic. And it's the second week in a row where the Texans have really had a guy on defense step up the way that Eric Murray did. Last week it was Neville Hewitt. This week it ends up being Eric Murray. And
Dalton Schultz was good. Targeted 6 times, 4 catches.
It's nice to see the Texans starting to mix in the tight ends, which they had success with earlier in the season and then for some reason went away from. I don't know.
Well, maybe that has something to do with the protection issues, that you got to leave that extra guy in to help block.
Well, that's
maybe.
a very good point, actually, because they have had success seemingly on the shorter underneath routes. I'll keep saying it again, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it again until it's not true, but that is what they have had success with. This season, it's what they had success with last season, and specifically with Tank Dell. They had a lot of success there. It was good to see him have a good game.
Reinforcement.
We've got DeMeco now at the podium, so we'll let you listen in.
About 9. Oh, man. Thankful. Fire away.
Mike, early in the first half, the pressure was getting to CJ, but you all kind of turned things around. What did you feel like was happening in the first half, and how did you all make the adjustments in the second half?
Yeah, first and foremost, just really proud of our team and the way they battled today. And we talked about how hard this was going to be. Like, tough opponent, like division opponent, know each other well. They battled, really good team. So I'm just proud of all of our guys for finding a way to get the win. That's the most important thing when it comes to, the pressure, whatever happened there. I mean, thought our guys did well. CJ finished with, over 280 yards of passing. He made great decisions with the football all day, kept us out of some bad plays. Just can't say enough about what CJ is doing and how he's, just leading this offense. So very proud of him. And it's just multiple guys stepping up, making plays. All right, Hutch, Mitch, Schultz, everybody. Everybody on offense stepped up and made plays. And again, playing these guys knew it was going to be hard, all right, to stop the run. And Joe, again, over 100 yards. Joe showed up big time for us when we needed it most, making plays.
Coach, your defense forced 22 incompletions from Anthony Richardson today. What was the game plan going into this matchup to disrupt his rhythm, and how pleased were you with the defensive execution?
Our game plan is always about us, and that's the main thing. If we play our defense the proper way, if we're where we're supposed to be, and we make it difficult on the opposing quarterback, no matter who it is. So really proud of our guys for the way they covered. And also, more so it goes to the D-line, the credit for them and how they rush right together. Got 5 sacks. I know Richardson wasn't sacked a lot before coming into this game. We were able to get him down 5 times, and it was just multiple times we had pressure on him. So it's credit goes to our D-line, the way they got after it up front. Daniil, Will, Settle, everybody was in on the action of applying pressure on the quarterback.
Well, DeMeco, you said after last week's loss at Green Bay that there were a lot of things the team had to fix. Obviously, you got them fixed today. It showed. How big is that, knowing you got to play another game in New York in 4 days?
And for us, as we evaluate each game, it's always an internal look at us and how we can play better. Wins, losses, it doesn't matter. Like, we go back and we look at it closely and see where we can improve. Even today, there are a lot of things, right, that we can clean up and we can play much better. Happy to come out with a win, but there'll always be things to clean up. And it's just about, as this season moves forward, it's about our team getting better, right? If we can continue to get better each week, we'll be in a really good spot.
Hey, DeMeco, can you just talk about how every time you needed a big play, whether it was on defense or offense, somebody stepped up and did that, and how that is kind of the spirit of this team?
It's a team-first mentality. Like, I'll tell our guys, it doesn't matter who makes the play. It doesn't matter who gets the credit. It's not about credit. It's not about, one person. It's about the entire team. And today it took everyone. And that's what makes me, more proud as a coach when you have different guys stepping up in all phases of the game, different guys stepping up, guys, battling all week, soreness, injuries, but guys stepping up and just going out and making plays for the team. And nobody's looking for a pat on the back. That's just how we operate. That's how we do. And I love that about our team because that's our team culture. It's team first over everything.
Obviously, Stephon Diggs went down earlier. Do you have a kind of update on that? And if he's not able to play, this will have a loss. Is losing a guy like Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, unfortunate to see Steph go down there. He's still being evaluated for a knee, so we'll hopefully find out further information as the week goes on.
We'll take a few more.
Coach, how big was Eric Murray for the defense today? He made a lot of plays down the field, really did a good job of just making sure the ball stayed in front of him. I know you say, a lot of guys don't look for one player recognition, but how big was it there for this defense today?
Yeah, I thought Eric did a really nice job of, to get his hands on 3 passes there and bat them down. Really good job by Eric, and just in the tackling, everything. Eric did a really good job for us. Not only Eric, having Kamari back was huge for us. And the way he, competed and made plays. Stingley, thought he did a great job. He had some guys there that were open. Stingley, playing with unbelievable effort to make a couple plays on the ball there. So our back end, just all those guys stepped up and made plays.
We'll take these last 3 right here.
DeMeco, obviously Jared suffered an injury. If he's good to go, would he be your left guard, or did you like enough of what Kimmy did in the second half to retain that spot?
Yeah, as we keep going, we'll keep evaluating our offensive line. We'll see where our guys are.
DeMeco, can you talk about CJ, because basically you lost your front line of receivers, but then it seemed like there was no drop-off because he just seemed like some guys got open and he was hitting the guys that was getting open.
Yeah.
And that progression and his maturation is just something astonishing now.
Yeah, it's very impressive to watch, CJ as a young quarterback. And I talk about his calmness, I talk about his confidence, but it truly goes back to what I said earlier about it's our entire team. It's just about executing, right, the plays that are called, being where we're supposed to be. And it doesn't matter who's the guy. He's not staring down one person. He's going through his progression. He's making the proper reads, and he's taking the guys that are open. It doesn't matter who it is, and it just goes to his vision, right? And when we have protection and him being able to make accurate throws all across the field. So, and can't say enough great things about, CJ and how he's continuing to grow as a quarterback.
And can you talk about Jalen Petrie? It seems like he's found his space in this defense and the way he's showing up, and he seems like he's just continuing to progress throughout the season.
Yeah, Jalen's he's our spark plug. He finds a way to be all over the field, whether, he's in a blitz or just being active in coverage for him to get that interception there when they were backed up so we can get points. That was such a huge play. You talk about play of the game. We needed it most. Kind of stalled out there on offense, but for Jalen to get that pass, wish he would have scored, but but no, I'm proud of Jalen. He continues to get better. These past 3 weeks, I think Jalen is playing some of the best football he's played for us.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, Mika.
All right. Ready?
All right. You.
Oh, hey, echo.
Sorry for the technical issues. We are back. It was good to hear from DeMeco Ryans.
Issues. That was an issue.
Yes.
The beauty of live, right? The beauty of being live.
We're doing it live.
Yeah.
Great to hear from DeMeco Ryans.
Got the
after
digs.
game.
Got the digs
Right.
update. That of course it's
There will be an update
moving forward.
after they get the test done.
I did this.
Okay.
These are your scores from the last 3 games against the Indianapolis Colts. So, last January, 4 points. First game of the year, 2 points. 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
In 3 games, they're only 9 points better than the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
And you've had the play of Anthony Richardson. If they get competent quarterback play, it's a different story. So, yes, the Texans certainly are the class of this division, but it is a lot closer than I think a lot of people believe or would think heading into the season.
Doesn't seem like it has to be that close.
No.
The one thing I will say is that our friend Kim Davis, DeMeco answering that question to her, who you see on Sports Extra, Kim Davis of Chalk Talk, asking DeMeco about this team's mentality. I will say this team's mentality has been excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is the 8th win in a row, I'm sorry, following a loss.
Mm-hmm.
So DeMeco is doing the right things to get them motivated. That's really not the problem, but at some point, the execution or their lack of is going to really hurt them.
It is. Here's some comments from some of our viewers here. Cheryl saying it favored by the refs. Here's another comment. My takeaway from this game is they made it hard for themselves, but a win is a win. Nancy says need to find their throwing game. It can't be all Mixon and Diggs. And then Cheryl says hoping the Jets beat them. Obviously the Jets being the next game, Thursday Night Football in New Jersey. It will be Texans at the Jets.
Halloween in the New York City area. Having lived there for many years, it's always cold on Halloween and it's always raining. So I don't know if that's the
and Jets are always going to
week.
Jets.
That's also true.
Lucky appears to... Man, we are having all
We are
kinds of
just-
issues on this one.
Yep.
Huh?
Yep. Okay. We're good. That's good.
It's good. 23-20 is the final in this one. Please leave your comments as we're breaking down this game. Texans beating the Indianapolis Colts as we're waiting for C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud, again, DeMeco, one of the first things that came out of DeMeco's mouth was the way C.J. was able to bounce back from that 80-yard effort last week. But that's not surprising to us given what we know about C.J. Stroud and certainly the ability that C.J. Stroud has. And then also... the running game, Joe Mixon right now is your most valuable player. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
100%.
Joe Mixon is the key in the ignition. He is the guy that, with him, it just looks and feels different. And I don't know coming into the season if we gave him enough credit. In our season preview, we had Cody Stutes from HOUfootball.com, Seth Payne from Sports Radio 610. Both of them, when asked who would lead the team in touchdowns this season, both of them gave the answer of Joe Mixon. And right now, that is looking to be like the correct answer based on what this Texans offense looks like when Joe Mixon is in there. However, now moving forward, there might be even more emphasis on Joe Mixon given that Nico Collins is out. Stephon Diggs, we don't know the status of him. Obviously, Tank Dell stepped up today, caught a touchdown pass, 4 catches, 35 yards. You're going to need more production from him. You're going to need more production out of Dalton Schultz. And you're going to need more production out of John Mechie, Xavier Hutchinson, Robert Woods, that cast of guys. This is problematic if Stephon Diggs is out for an extended period of time, because you've gone from one of the deepest wide receiver rooms in the NFL, and that depth is going to be tested over the next few weeks depending on the severity of Stephon Diggs' injury.
You know what makes really good players like Stephon Diggs the kind of players that they are? It's their ability to not necessarily have to execute perfectly in order to make plays, right? CJ Stroud, case in point, he's getting no time in the pocket, yet he still manages to throw for, how many yards did he have today? Anyways.
CJ?
Yeah.
CJ had 285.
Okay, so he still manages to throw for 285 yards. Great players overcome not the best execution. The more really good players that you lose, the more cleanly you have to execute.
Yeah.
And in 2 games this season, where we've seen the Texans play teams that at this point we know are legit. They're legit good teams, okay? I don't think the Bills are what the Bills used to be, and the rest of the teams that they've played are okay, right? They've lost both games to good teams, okay? And they probably should have lost that game against Green Bay by a lot more than they did. My point is, clearly, it's showing up that they're not executing as much as they need to be in order to beat the good teams. And if you lose Stephon Diggs and you don't have Nico Collins, I mean, it does come to a point where you wonder, how much can you overcome on just talent alone?
Lots of comments coming in. Justin Singleton, Jets lost against New England. This better be an easy win for the Texans. It's a short week. Sometimes that can have an impact. Justin also saying if Joe would have been in, the Texans would have lost, Joe being Joe Flacco. Richardson had issues throwing short passes. Richardson has issues throwing a lot of different passes. It is
throwing
quite remarkable. This guy looks like Dante Culpepper. He looks like Donovan McNabb when you see him and you see him running, but his mechanics are all over the place, and he's so athletic, but some of the throws he makes, some of the decisions he makes, I can only imagine what they're saying right now in Indianapolis after this one. Well, I'm guessing it goes along the lines of this. If we have competent quarterback play, at least we win this game and the division looks a lot different.
Yeah.
Patricia says, congrats on the win, CJ Stroud. Great quarterback team, and they need less penalties. I didn't look to see what the penalty count was today.
I think it was 4.
Another comment, for sure, but good game, time to tighten up for Thursday, without a doubt. Patricia says, no worries, we will beat the Jets. Penalties was 5 for 30. 5 for 30. Texans will take that given some of the issues they had earlier in the season. Colts, that's certainly something that they're going to be looking at as they move along this week. Nine penalties for 57 yards. There was a huge discrepancy in the time of possession. The Texans had the ball for more than 35 minutes, and the Colts had the ball for just a little less than 25. Let's say it was 24-40. So again, when you've got the ball for that much longer, a 3-point win is not what you expect to see on the scoreboard, but that's what we have. Third down efficiency, this also may have decided the game in many ways for the Colts. The Colts were 2 of 13 on third down, whereas the Texans were 4 of 13. Not great, but in a league where typically 1 or 2 plays, maybe 3, often decides a game, I think that could be said for this game. There were about a handful of plays that decided this game.
And when you're trying to throw 30, 40-yard explosives on first and second down, that's leaving you in some pretty bad spots on third down, and it makes it a lot less likely that you are going to convert. And you know what, Patricia, you're right. They probably could beat the Jets playing like they did today, but guess what? They're not going to beat the Lions.
More comments. More comments coming in. Jason Villanueva says, Lions game on November 10th is scary. Yes. Right now, Texans fans should be happy they do not play in the NFC North. Robert Mullins, our defense, saved us today. Yes.
It has.
It has.
For the whole season, pretty much.
I mean, the offense has been the offense, and I haven't looked to see. They were averaging fewer than 20 points a game, which was. Oh, you have it?
Well, I I have their, defensive yards on average. The Texans are not surprisingly number 2 in the league. So,
and that's with some injuries too.
That's with some injuries.
The defensive backfield is a bit, has some issues when it comes to injuries. And then you've had some. I mean, you've got 2 linebackers out right now, 2 of your most important players, right?
And one of them was out for the first 6 weeks.
Christian
of the
Harris,
season.
sure.
And DeMeco Ryans, that position group is decimated right now for the Texans, and they're still finding a way to play well, get takeaways. They've been good.
Texans 23.6 points per game heading into this game, so it'll hold about that. That is 14th in the NFL. 14th in the NFL. One of the big surprises of this season would be the leaders in points per game this season in the NFL. Any idea? The leader?
Minnesota?
No. It is Washington.
Oh.
31
Jaden
points a
Daniels?
game.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Baltimore and Washington tied,
Okay.
excuse me. 31 points a game. Detroit's number 2 at 33 at 30. You have Tampa Bay, Buffalo, Minnesota. So those are what a year to play the NFC North, huh? What a play.
Man.
What a year. Justin also saying, I'll give Tunsil a pass for his penalty this game. He's been pretty quiet the last few games. I would agree. Justin, we talk about the O-line, but shouldn't Slowick get some blame because he takes so long for his plays, I guess, to unravel at times. It's very interesting you bring that up, Justin. One thing that DeMeco mentioned quite a bit during the preseason, during training camp was, and I think CJ's talked about this as well, yes, there's something about being up-tempo, but more so it's getting in and out of the huddle quickly. And the Texans have not really been doing that, and then I wonder if that has some sort of impact on being frantic in the last few, maybe 8 seconds of an offensive play as the clock winds down, but they did not seem at times very crisp coming out of the huddle in this game, and I think that sometimes has to do with their tempo. It's not traditional up-tempo, but just they always talk about getting in and out of the huddle in a crisp manner and having some urgency, and at times we have not seen that. CJ is still taking too many hits, says Frankie.
9 quarterback hits from the Colts today. Yes, you're right.
Mary says, good game till the last seconds. Let's see. What else do we have here? Lots of people weighing in. We appreciate that. Let's see. My takeaway from this game, they made it hard for themselves, but a win is a win. Yes, I would agree wholeheartedly on that one. Again, as we wait for CJ Stroud to come to the podium at NRG Stadium. Certainly CJ is going to be asked about the protection. He was very mindful of how he addressed that question this past week. And basically, no surprise, CJ said, I believe in my guys. We've done it in the past. I know they're going to do a good job. And it was better. But certainly when you see so early in the game the Texans making a move on the offensive line by putting in Patterson, taking out Kenyon Green, they're aware. They know what's up. And certainly the injury to Patterson changed some of that moving forward in this game. But
the statement was made, though.
There was a statement made. So listen, we're getting into this time of the year where there shouldn't be any more excuses. I mean, you've got to put your best guys out there who are healthy enough to play. And certainly the Texans realize about what's going on and some of the issues. But DeMeco's even addressed it as well, saying, we know we're not executing and the offensive line has to be better.
Yeah, and Bobby Slowick did take a lot of the blame.
Yeah, he did. Thank you for getting to that.
We cannot fault the Texans for the way that they have responded. Like Jason said, CJ, as you would expect, showing a lot of class when speaking about his guys, and then Bobby Slowick taking the blame this week. Having said that, it makes you wonder if this is something that has been broken for a while. It doesn't make me wonder. I know it has been. You go back to last year, and it makes you wonder, how much, again, I'll say this again this week, how much has CJ made up for the fact that the offensive line has not played very well?
And there is some talk that he's not as accurate this year. I would put a lot of that on what's been happening in front of him. I'm not saying that has everything to do with it, but I think that has quite a bit to do with some of his accuracy, and I don't want to call them issues, but the way CJ has looked not at times like the quarterback that we saw from a statistical standpoint in his rookie season.
Well, I think that understandably they're going to try and implement more new things this year in year 2 of the offense. Okay,
Might have been more basic first season.
I think it probably was more basic, and now defenses are primed to face CJ Stroud. They know what he is capable of. It's not going in week to week thinking, oh, he's been pretty good so far. No, he's one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL. There's no question about it. Having said that, as Jason said, when you think about his accuracy this year, I would employ you to try and run around and make completions with guys who are taller than you, bigger than you, and faster than you, all coming at you at the same time, and try not to throw interceptions. I mean, it's not easy.
I was listening, but I was also trying to pull up the transcript from this previous Wednesday when C.J. Stroud met with the media. There is some movement on our camera from NRG Stadium, and now we go to NRG and C.J. Stroud.
Thought process as you guys went through the progressions after losing Stephon Diggs, and how important was it to find players like John mentioned, Hutchinson late in the game?
Yeah, prayers go out to Steph and him, and God doesn't make any mistakes. So, I hope he's okay. I don't know what's going on yet, but I'm praying for him and hoping that he starts to feel better. So just want to give all glory and praise to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ first and foremost. I forgot that part, but man, it's not easy seeing him go down like that. I hope he's okay, but I thought Metch and Hutch did a great job. Trying to, be better. I mean, not be better, excuse me, but step up to the plate and play really well, just like Steph was. So I just, I'm really proud of those dudes. And, they got to step up big for us in a couple of days here.
Well, CJ, you knew you had things to correct after the loss of the Packers, and obviously you guys did a great job of it today. This, we knew, was a huge game because if you lost the game, you're technically tied with the Colts, but now you got a 2-game lead. How big is that?
It's huge. It's they're always a tough opponent. Divisional games are some of your hardest games. So when you can find a way to win, we do. We clean up some things. But we got a lot of other things to clean up as well. But I definitely know that we're a heck of a football team, and we just got to keep putting it on film. And once we figure out the little kinks and things that we need to figure out, I think we're gonna be rolling.
Going off Hudson actually late in the game, you found Tank at the end of the second quarter for a touchdown. How big was it to get him rolling today after a tough week last week and getting his confidence up a little bit?
I think he had a great mindset coming into the week, just getting better. Owning his ops, and I thought he did a great job of that. He ran a lot of good routes today, and me and him are really close, and we just want to feed off one another, and it was good just to get our mojo back going, and I'm just super proud of him and what he's been able to do, and he's gonna have to really step up big for us.
You mentioned just figuring out the kinks. You got a short week, Jets on Thursday. What are some things that you can take away from this game that you can build on, stack good moments from in order to not only get ready for the Jets on Thursday, but just to close out the season?
Yeah, I would say, just trust ourselves, stay aggressive. And, I think we can do a better job of getting 7 and not 3, and scoring touchdowns in the red zone. I think that's a big thing. I think, I thought our defense played really well. And, I'm not the coach, so I'm not going to sit here and I don't know everything. I haven't watched the film yet. But positive things, I feel like we can, keep running the ball really well. I think that's huge for us. And our play action pass is going really well. We can work on our drop back pass and things like that. But yeah, there's a lot of things to learn from and to get better at. So yeah, we got to just get ready because we're playing a really tough New York Jets team on Thursday.
Couple more. Go ahead. 2-part question, CJ. First off, as you mentioned, only 4 days and you're playing again. Number one, how tough is that? And number two, the Jets are going to be really hungry because they got beat by the Patriots today.
Yeah, I would say, it's my first time playing on Thursday, so, I'm leaning on, leadership from older guys, and their biggest thing is recovery and, mentally straining on the game plan. So, it's a short week, but, it's, prime time football, got to be ready to play at a high level. And, yeah, I believe that the Jets are going to be very highly motivated. They got a lot of weapons over there. One of the best quarterbacks ever to play, a big fan of his. Their defense, they have some really good corners. The D-line is really good, and, I think C.J. Mosley and Quincy Williams are two underrated defenders in this league. So, they're a great defense. We got to, be able to withstand the surge early and, just keep building and keep rolling.
Obviously, unfortunate that Steph went down today. Throughout the first 8 weeks, how much do you think the check that you guys and the other receivers have, how much do you think that's helped integrate Steph up to this point?
Yeah, I think just the camaraderie, the brotherhood I see in that room is just kind of what I had in college, with Garrett, Chris, Jackson, Marv, Mac, and even all the way to Jupe, Sam Wiggles, like our walk-ons, like everybody was close. And you kind of look at this team like that is, all the guys who are playing a lot, look out for the guys who aren't really playing as much, and they want to see those boys eat. So it's really cool to see, and I think, it's sad, but it's the worst part of our game is just injury. So, praying for Steph, I think he'll be okay, but I definitely know that no matter what, we got to be able to still win games, and I know he wants that for us at the end of the day.
You mentioned the defense, on what could have been a really big momentum shift with the pitch play. How big was it for your defense to go out there and have a 3-and-out and force another punt and give you guys the ball back at the end?
Huge, man. We got to be better as offense, and that can't happen. We can't turn the ball over down there. We got to find a way to just get on the ball or, just not do that. So, yeah, I'm fully aware, that that's a big mistake, and that could have cost us the game, you know what I mean? So, we got to help. We got to play complementary football. We got to help the defense, just like when they help us. You know what I mean? So, yeah. All right, man. You guys have a good one.
So there it is, C.J. Stroud from the podium after this 23-20 win over the Indianapolis Colts. Steph Diggs mentioned that he's hoping Steph will be fine. I know that there's a number of players in that locker room who feel the same way, and fans as well. But after hearing CJ, what stood out to you?
I still continue to be impressed by his mindset, even though we shouldn't be at this point. He has a way of being able to keep things in perspective that when you look over at the Colts sideline, for instance, a quarterback who's relatively the same age and experience as CJ, you see much different level of composure. As far as what he said specifically, I don't really know that anything was addressed. I think this was one of those, you won, so the questions are good. If you lose, the questions are bad, right?
And it's...
I mean, it could have gone either way. So I don't really think there's anything to take away much from what he said in the press conference. He did talk about the fact that they turn around and play the Jets. Recovery is going to be important.
And the fact that this is the first time he's done that.
Yeah, it is. That's definitely, probably the most tangible thing you can take away.
Yeah. Also, should mention, congratulations to Andre Johnson for receiving his Hall of Fame ring. Well deserved. And now Andre's Hall of Fame experience, I don't want to say is over, but I think that wraps up his induction festivities. Yeah. Well deserved, so congratulations to Andre Johnson once again. That's going to do it. Texans with a win, 23-20 over the Indianapolis Colts. For Zach Tawatari, I'm Jason Bristol. As always, thanks for joining us and participating as we break down another Texans win. Once again, your final 23-20 with the Jets looming on Thursday.